vision gives us our direction that we need to accomplish whatever mission that's there for us.
Yes, sir.
So one of the things that I do is I always try to push forth that vision into people so that we can give birth to the things that God wants us to create down here on earth.
Yes, sir.
Are you willing to do whatever God called you to do?
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Calling Collective with Emmanuel Butts, where we showcase different paths and callings so you can better understand and discover yours. Today, I got a special guest, a personal mentor of mine, a chef, a veteran, and a secret financial guru, because I know you want to tell people straight up, but I've learned some great financial tips. And the bishop, the pastor, the founder of City of David Christian Center Incorporated, not just messing, but in Clarksville, Tennessee, Bishop William E. Martin III.
Yes.
How you doing today?
I'm doing amazing. How are you?
I'm doing well. Doing well. How was your week today?
My week has been amazing because one of the things you know about me, I don't subscribe to bad days.
Yes.
So every day's amazing.
That's good. And we're on social media, so don't be subscribing to that bad news, bad teaching, all right, and bad day. Not you have bad teaching.
Right.
I know. We were just talking about, you said you on TikTok, it's a lot of bad teaching out there.
A lot of bad teaching out there.
And so I know.
It sounds good, feels good,
yeah,
but it's not good for you, kind of like cake.
Cake, yes, sir. You can't eat cake all the time.
All the time, you can't do it.
Not all the time, yes, sir. Yes, sir. So today we want to know how you got to where you were. And so usually we go ahead and start off with the question, though. So from not knowing you, just from seeing you out on the street, what's something somebody would not know, like maybe a special skill or something that everyone doesn't know about you? Can't be cooking. It can't be cooking. Yeah, we know that.
Everybody knows me for cooking. I have a hobby that a lot of people don't know that I have. I love flying drones.
Really? I
have drones, helicopters, airplanes, and I'm a bass player.
Okay, yes, sir. All right, yes, sir. I actually love flying drones and helicopters. Me and my dad used to do that back in the day. I remember one time we were at a park and we had an RC plane and like flew over it came out of like distance and it just flew straight into the forest and it's gone. So, so Bishop, where are you from and like what was your home life like?
I am from Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay.
I'm from a great two-parent home.
Okay.
And
awesome.
I say a great two-parent home because I had some of the best parents anybody could ever ask for.
Okay, yes, sir. Was your parents in ministry or?
They were not in ministry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were not in ministry.
Was there anybody in the military?
My dad was in the military. He was in the military for 6 months and got kicked out.
6 months? What did he do?
Yeah, huh?
What did he do?
We never know. You know, I might have to get his DD-214, and figure out what he did. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what influenced you to go into the military?
The economy.
Oh, that's facts.
Because way back then in 87, the economy really wasn't doing real well, and
yes, sir.
I had my wife and we had a child out of wedlock, and one of the things that my child needed to do was eat. So I was mainly responsible for feeding and taking care of him. So I said, this is a great way for me to get a college education and also take care of my son.
Yes, sir. And I know like back then the retirement was way different than it is now.
Retirement was a lot.
And you can get like half of your pay?
You get half of your pay.
Just off the rip. Yeah, now I'm in the military and like it's different. So it ain't as good, But okay, so what influenced, after you going into the military, what influenced you to stick with that?
What influenced me to stick with it was the Army was so easy to me. And I say it was easy because all I had to do was what I was told.
That's facts. I've heard that.
Yeah, I mean, so all I do, I would go in, and if I was doing something incorrect, I just said, well, the only reason I'm doing is because Sergeant so-and-so said it. I didn't have to think. I didn't have to think. I didn't have to do anything. Just do what I was told. First and the 15th, I was getting paid.
Yes, sir.
And I was getting paid pretty well based off not having a college education.
Yeah. Okay. So we go back to cooking. I know everyone doesn't know you're a chef on the podcast, maybe, but Bishop can cook down. All right. So were you cooking before you got in the military?
Well, my cooking story goes back to when I was probably about, I'll say about 10. And this is a true story, and maybe I shouldn't put this out for everyone to know. My mom, we were talking one day, and she told me, she said, "You're the laziest person I ever met in my life."
What?
And she said, "Yeah." She said, "You're not going to find a wife." She said, "What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to teach you how to cook, and I'm going to have to teach you how to clean." So from that day forward, she had me in the kitchen. I was cooking. I was cleaning. I think she did like a psychological trick on me, So
you're like, nah, I need a wife. That works
so
out.
I was cooking and I was cleaning, and I was just doing all these different things, to kind of round me out.
Yes,
so
sir.
anytime I cook, it always takes me back to the time to where I shared special times with my mom that my other brothers and sisters
beautiful.
weren't there.
Yes, sir. How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have 3 sisters and I have 1 brother.
Okay. All right. So you started cooking, and then that was before the military.
Yeah, I was probably about I would say between 10 and 12.
Okay. And I know back then, it wasn't today, it's more, people are more inclined to go after those type of passions, you know, but back in the day, it's like, I know my parents would tell me like, oh, you need to get a 9 to 5. And like, so was your mom pushing you to go in the military?
No, she didn't. No one was really pushing me to go into the military. Back then it was, and I say for my parents, they just wanted me to graduate.
That's fair. Yeah.
You know, it wasn't so much about college.
So
Yeah.
in high school, I was not doing well. So
I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just to graduate,
Yes, sir.
get a job, start a family.
Okay.
So that's where we were. Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right. So going into the military, what was that experience like? I know you said your sergeant told you what to do, and it's pretty easy.
Yeah. Going into the military was kind of culture shock because, like I said, my parents were great to me.
Yes, sir.
So I was spoiled. So I go in and I'm not spoiled anymore.
Yes, sir.
So where I used to get grace for certain things, I was no longer getting that grace.
Yeah.
So because I wasn't getting that grace, it made me strive in a way and lock down on the inside and pull stuff out of me that I never had to do before. So I was noticing that I was accelerating in the military to where I was at home and I was being coddled, but now I was able to do certain things.
Do for yourself.
I was
okay. All right. So in the where did you start out? What was your first base?
My first base was Berbergen, Germany, and Berbergen, Germany.
Okay.
It was called Panzerkaserne.
Panzerkaserne. Oh, so you started off in Germany?
Yes.
Man,
my first duty
that's
station.
crazy to be leaving home, Louisville, and straight.
I was 21 years old.
Wow.
I had just gotten married. My wife was 18, and my son was 2. So, first time we came together, first time we were lived together, she was 18,
me at 18,
and I was 21. Yeah.
What was that like early marriage like that?
To us, that was our norm. And I think that it really helped us stay together because we didn't have family saying, are interjecting into our marriage.
That's fair. Yeah.
You know, so she couldn't just go home and go to mom's house.
I know, because my wife today would be like, we're getting an argument. She's like, I miss my mom. I'm like, hey man, you and me, you stuck.
Yeah. Because
so
when you're in Germany like that, back then, it was going to take you at least 2 weeks before you got a ticket to go back home.
Because what the clearance is?
You're just getting the tickets, just getting permission to go.
Yes, sir.
And by that time, we've made up.
Yeah.
So
she's like, all right. Oh, she said, well, I think we were at your house. She said she was packing her bags.
Packing the bags on the weekends.
It worked out.
But it did because it taught us how to work together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. That's awesome. And I know you stayed in to, how long did you stay?
I stayed in for 21 years.
21 years and ended at what? Well, let the people know what you ended as.
Oh, I ended up as an E8, which is a first sergeant.
E8. That's one rank from the,
It's one rank from sergeant major.
Yeah, one rank from the top. That's pretty impressive. So coming from Louisville, didn't even really know. Did you know too much about the military?
I know a little bit about the military because my brother-in-law was in.
Oh, okay.
And like I said, my father got kicked out.
Yes, sir.
But
look, you passed all the narratives.
I did, man. I did.
And
Like I said, it wasn't easy. It was really easy because even as a senior non-commissioned officer, all I did was what I was told. Because missions would come down.
True. Orders come down.
Missions come down. You just do what you're told. And you collect your check at the end of.
Yes, sir.
At the end of the.
And like in today's society, people are not doing what they're told.
They're not.
Doing the bare minimum.
You have a lot of people, man, and this is just my personal opinion, that wants to be trailblazers. But a trailblazer, when you're a trailblazer, there's always sacrifices to be made.
Yes, sir.
So you have people that want to be trailblazers but don't want to make the sacrifices.
Yes, sir.
So they want to waver, or they want a way to do things that's easy. So, but nah, man, you can't do that.
Well,
if you want to be a trailblazer, you got to put some skin in the game.
Yes, sir. I think what is this? A motivational speaker says everybody want to be a dog too. You got to do what a dog does.
That's exactly.
You don't want to be a dog for real.
No, they don't. They don't.
Yes, sir. All right. So we're in the military. First, had you already started being in ministry or no?
Yes, I had made I started pastoring then. I started ministry back in '89.
Okay.
I got saved in '89, gave my life to Christ, and then I started preaching in 1991.
Wow. So how did you get into? How did you come into a relationship with Christ, and then how did you start preaching? Like, what was that?
My relationship with Christ actually started in my AIT, which is my advanced individual training, job training. That's where my relationship really started. So it was a guy. His name was Victor Jose.
Okay.
Victor Jose, and he was just sitting there reading his Bible. So I was kind of curious, you know, and I would go in and I would talk to him. And so he said, well, why don't you let me teach you about the Bible? So I started letting him teach me about the Bible. So every night we would talk about the Bible. So it got to a point where I was getting more and more curious, and I went out and bought a Bible.
Yes, sir.
After going over to Germany, which was my first duty station, there was a gentleman by the name of Gerald Waters. He was an E5 at the time. And he was just talking about all these great things that God was doing for him. So every chance that I got, I would always try to sit by him, sit near him, and all I wanted to do was listen. So, and in today's times, I guess I was ear hustling,
Yes,
you know,
sir. Ain't
because
nothing wrong with that.
so I was learning, and the Bible tells us, you know, faith cometh by hearing.
Yes,
so
sir.
me just sitting
That's
by
facts.
listening
Yes,
to
sir.
this him talk, I decided, I said, you know what? I like what I have, but I want what he has. So I just kept listening to him, and I made friends with him. It turned out he was the gospel service pastor.
Wow.
So yeah.
Okay, that's pretty awesome. So from that passion of hearing, did you know? Okay, I have a passion for preaching, or
Yes.
did you? Okay,
Yes.
so you knew right then.
Yes, right.
Oh man. Okay, so how did that develop into like actually pastoring and preach? Did you come under somebody? Did you like?
Well, how that developed was I just started serving in church. One of the things that I say,
That's
I always
beautiful,
say,
'cause
I always
people
say
wanna go to
that
the top.
if you want to do something, just start striving for it and strive for the highest level possible. And if you strive for the highest level possible, what'll happen is what you want will fall out. So I got in church and I just started striving. And what I mean by striving, I just got in, I just started working. You know, I started working with the youth, and after I worked with the youth, I was working with the ushers and gatekeepers,
Yes, sir.
and I started working with the choir. You know,
So
I
you
started
really
doing.
just
I just
everywhere.
got in and
Yeah.
started working, and the ministry kind of falling out. And I'll give you an example. We were deployed, and while we were deployed, we were in Iraq. So I got in the gospel service, and I did the same thing that I was doing in garrison.
and serve.
And yeah, so I got in the service. I just started working. I just started showing up.
Yes, sir.
You know, I was cleaning. I was doing all this kind of stuff. And they came to me one day and they said, "Well, the chaplain wants to start a gospel service." I said, "That's great." And he said, "He wants you to do it." I said, "He wants who to do it? Who wants who to do it?" So he came and he started talking to me. So as he started talking to me, he said, "Hey, I want you to pastor
Wow.
the gospel service over there." So I said, "Man, you want who to pastor?" You know, just something that I wanted, but you know, I
Oh,
was,
so you had already wanted it then?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, but you're just waiting on God's timing. That's awesome.
and I'm telling you, man, God's timing is
See?
just
Yeah.
so amazing. Because a lot of people choose their time and call it God's timing, but it's
That's
but it's
facts.
not,
And
it's
then
not.
it don't work out the way it's supposed to.
And then they want to blame God.
Yes, sir.
But you got to be careful with that, because sometimes, man, you can have such a zeal, but your zeal is not according to knowledge, and you wind up hurting a lot of people.
Wow.
Because one of the things that I always say, you know, if you had a major surgery, right, you would be kind of selective with your doctor.
Yes, sir.
You know, and I know I love you and you love me to death, but you wouldn't let me do brain surgery on you.
Yeah, you're not brain surgery.
But here it is, you'll let somebody without any experience,
Wow.
without any fruit, just say something into your life, and it's just as detrimental
Yes,
as
sir.
allowing somebody who hasn't been trained to do
Yes,
brain
sir.
surgery.
Yeah,
on
the
you.
spiritual is more real than the natural. So yeah. All right. So all right, we're starting to preach. All right, so we come back to the States. What does that look like?
We come back to the States. You know, I wasn't in a pastoral position.
Okay.
And that didn't matter to me, because what mattered to me was pleasing God.
Yes, sir.
So I just go back, and I'm just back, and I'm working, and I'm just in churches, and I'm doing whatever I can find my hands to do in church. Those are the things that I'm doing.
Yes, sir.
So I continue to go through church. I leave Fort Bragg.
Okay.
And when I leave Fort Bragg, I go to Birmingham, Alabama. And in Birmingham, Alabama, I'm at a Baptist church, and I'm doing the exact same thing. You know, just working in church. You know, whatever needs to be done. They need a janitor, boom.
Yes, sir.
I'm your janitor. You need somebody to clean up, boom. I'm the person that cleans up, because position really wasn't important to me. I had a desire, but I wanted to please God more than anything else.
Yes, sir. What advice? We stop right here. What advice would you give someone who wants to be in a position of leadership? You know, and I've seen a lot of people that desire to be a pastor, and like you said, they go out there on their own. What advice? I know you said serving, so how would you suggest they get into serving or start?
I would tell them to let someone mentor you.
Yes, sir.
Don't just go out there talking about you relying on the Spirit. Allow someone, find someone, let someone mentor you.
Yes, sir.
Let someone, I'll say it like this, let someone grow you up
Yes,
in the gospel, because what that does is you get to make so you get to make mistakes on their dime. You know, they'll get to show you different things that you don't have to, and I'll say it once again, mess up people's lives trying to figure it out.
Yes, sir. Oh man, that's good. And what is it? Was it Paul and Timothy?
Yep.
Yes, sir. And then they even had mentorship in the Bible.
did.
Yeah.
They did.
So we can follow that model. We're supposed to live after
Yes,
the Bible.
yes.
Yes, sir. Bishop, how did the City of David get started?
Okay, once again, I was deployed at the time. I was in the Army, and I was working in the chapel. So working in the chapel, I was in charge of the newcomers Bible study. So while I was in charge of the newcomers Bible study, you know, we were all praying and everything. And while we were praying, the name City of David came up, and I was like, wow, that's an awesome name. So I went to ministers training, which they had over there, and a gentleman by the name of John Moffat, he was saying how his pastor wanted to create a theme park. And the theme park he wanted to create was called City of David. So this is the second time I've heard.
Number 2.
Yeah, this is the second time I've heard the term City of David. And I'm like, man, that is an awesome name for a church. So I took it and I prayed about it, and I just started writing things down. So as I prayed about it and started writing things down, I said, when I go back to the States and God gives me the space, time, and opportunity, I'm going to start City of David.
Okay. So what did that space, time, and opportunity look like?
The space, time, and opportunity looked like, how can I put it? It was, I was working at a church called Refuge of Hope.
Okay.
And that's here locally at Clarksville, because I was deployed. My wife and them were serving at Refuge of Hope.
Okay.
So when I got back, I went to talk to the pastor. His name was Richard Williams. So I told him, I said, hey, you know, I'm back from deployment. I said, some things I want to talk to you about. I said, I really feel like, you know, that it's just my time. And
yes, sir.
God wants to move me out, and I want to start a church.
Yes,
so
sir.
I sat down with him, and I showed him everything, and we talked about it. And, you know, he kind of approved it. You know, no one wants to see anyone good leave the church.
Yeah, that's
you know?
fair. Yes,
so
sir.
he said, well, you know, as God leads, you know, then you go ahead and you do what God called you to do.
Yes, sir.
So the space opened up. I started a in-home Bible study, and we had like maybe 4 or 5 people coming. So the next week we had 6. And we had 4 or 5 people. The next week we had 6. The following week we had 7. Then we had 10. And so when we had 10 people, God told me to go ahead and open up the doors.
Wow. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. Did you, so you just knew that in prayer? Okay. Yeah. Awesome. All right. So what was the first church setting up like?
First church, we were in an insurance office.
Okay.
And we had about 13 people.
Okay.
And it was strange, because I had built a little, I guess I would call it a podium. It actually looked like a fruit cart. Actually, I built a little podium, and my mom had invested some money into us, and we just had that first service, and we just kind of just took off, man.
Wow.
We in 8 months we outgrew the insurance office, so we had to move, and we moved to the mall. A mall setting right out there on the side of Craft Street, and 41A.
Yes, sir. All right. So was it difficult building, or you feel like I know it's difficult building anything. What was that experience like over the years?
I don't want to say it was difficult, but it wasn't easy.
Yes, sir.
All I did was I just enjoyed the ride.
Yes, sir.
You know, and I say it like this because I knew where God wanted to take us, so I just held on to that. So.
That's awesome. All right, so now we are here on 1790 Woodlawn?
1790 Woodlawn Road.
Woodlawn Road in Clarksville, Tennessee. And so what has this been like, and what can we see in the future? Actually, let's back up. How did you become from a pastor to a bishop?
That's strange. That's
yes,
strange.
sir. I know.
Okay. What happened was I was pastor.
Yes,
I was pastoring Clark. I was pastoring the church, and there's a gentleman by the name of Apostle Harold K. Browning.
Okay.
We joined his Reformation, which is the global network of Christian churches.
Yes, sir.
So when I joined his network, he had 57 churches under him.
Wow.
So what he did was I came in, and he made me an overseer. 1 year after being an overseer, he called me into his office, and he told me he wanted to make me bishop of administration. So I became the bishop of administration over 57 churches.
Wow.
So I would go out to these different churches. I would look at their settings. I would look at their vision, and I would show them how to better submit or better put those visions into
yes, sir. All right.
into operation based off of the success that Faith Mission has.
And I know that's a pretty good skill that you have, and I feel like God's given you like vision casting. And I know I've seen you. Can you talk a little bit about how you write the vision, post it in the church, and Can you talk about how you used to say that every month? I remember we found that in our newcomers class. So,
Well, in the book of Habakkuk, it talks about write the vision and make it plain.
Yes, sir.
A lot of times we join ministries or we'll join an organization. We'll like the organization, but we don't know the vision of the organization, what the organization is supposed to do.
Yes, sir.
So here in City of David, our vision is transforming lives and impacting culture.
Yes, sir.
So our vision gives us our direction that we need to accomplish whatever mission that's there for us.
Yes, sir.
So one of the things that I do is I always try to push forth that vision into people so that we can give birth to the things that God wants us to create down here on earth.
Yes, sir. That's beautiful. All right. So now we're here at the main location, the big location on 1790 Woodlawn Road. What does that look like now? Is this what you would have expected this church to become over the years?
I'll say yes and no.
Okay.
Because I'll say yes, it is, because we're doing amazing here. And I'll say no because I don't ever want to limit God. God might have wanted to do more.
Yes,
However, I wasn't yielded enough to see it fully.
Yeah. Yes, sir. That's awesome. All right. So we want to ask about this financial. I know, unless you don't want to talk about it.
No, we can.
Okay. All right. So Bishop is a financial guru, and I wouldn't have known that had I not asked him for mentorship and asked to be mentored. But it just came out. And so, like, how did you get into stocks and investing and that type of thing?
Well, my dad, when I grew up, my dad had a cab business.
Okay.
He had an all cash business.
Oh man, that's dope.
So with him having an all cash business, it'd be him, me, my mother, and my other siblings are older than I am. So we would be in there and we would be counting money.
Yeah.
So as we would be counting money, my dad would say, okay, one of the things that we need to do, because if one of these cabs break down, I have to have enough money to buy a new car. So I'd watch him, because it was all cash business. He would set the money aside to buy a new car. Then he had another set of money where we would all sit back and count it, and he would count up enough money to get all repairs
done. So
it's
a family business.
Yeah, so we count up all enough money to get repairs done. So I watched him how he built the company, how he set money aside, and then I would look around the house, and I was never without anything. You know, lights were always on.
Yes, sir.
Food was always in there, and I loved it because I went to the car dealer one time with my dad, and I watched him buy a car cash.
Whoa.
So, you know, back then, you know, we're
awesome,
talking about, I mean, I grew up in the 70s.
Yeah.
You know, so I watched him go in and buy a car cash.
Awesome.
So a lot of what I do, I get from my dad.
That's awesome.
And then I read like Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
You know, I've read The Entrepreneur's Guide, you know,
sir.
just different readings. And then I started developing my own stuff, you know. Then I learned that I learned just from the Bible that, you know, that you should give.
Yes, sir.
So those are the things that I just kind of just locked in on, and I just continued going, because a lot of people, even today, they don't even know, who meet me now, they don't even know that I spent 21 years in the Army. I don't even tell them. It doesn't really even come up.
Yes, sir. Yeah, but you use your gifts and like what the Lord's giving you and steward it well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then the Bible teaches us, you know, the Bible teaches us we should be good stewards.
Yes, sir. Yes, it does. Bishop, I want to thank you for coming on this podcast. Is there anything else you got to say to anyone who might be desiring ministry or anything of the like?
I'll say this: if there's anybody out there seeing this podcast, I don't care where you are, I don't care what you're doing right now. If I can help you, hey, just reach out. Just reach out to me, and I'll do whatever I can to help you. You can find me on Facebook. My Facebook page is Bishop William E. Martin, or just look up City of David, Clarksville.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody. If you need anything, and I can help you, I will.
Yes, sir. And I just wanted to give you this journal because I know you talked about the Lord, your light and salvation, right, last Sunday. This isn't the exact scripture, but I just wanted to give you a journal. It's actually my wife's idea, and so she said you can write down your recipes. In this
wow! No, I got something else for this.
Okay, yes, sir. Yeah, and so we just want to thank you for coming on the podcast, sir.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for inviting me, and I'll
yes.
come back anytime you want.
Yes, sir. Definitely. We thank you for your wisdom. I hope you guys have a blessed day.